Bible, Joel and Acts of the Apostle said, I'll pour my spirit upon all flesh. Your old men will dream dreams, your young men will see visions. And upon my handmaidens and servants I'll pour my spirit and they will prophesy. It is a curse for any family, society, or generation not to have old people amongst them. It is also not a blessing when it is all old and nothing new, because success without succession is failure. Just as you cannot clap with one hand and no bird can fly with one wing. You need both the old and the new. Now the decade that is passing away is giving birth to something else. What we were saying is, if all these people's concern are for them to still be the one that will be on the captain's seat, then they are passing away, they are not thinking of succession. Take the whole message. I didn't deny it. I'll be the last.
What I'm trying to drive at, Pastor, is that Buhari, that you were the running mates to, a lot of people have seen this man, that what has he got to offer this country? When he was the military head of state, what did he offer this country? And also, of recent, a lot of people have seen him to be a religious bigot. And then I wonder, a pastor becoming a running mate, how do you think you will have been able to influence policies? Remember that in Nigerian politics, the president owns everything. He only gives assignment to the vice president as he deems it fits. So how do you think you will have been able to influence Buhari?
You know, with due respect to you and to Nigerians who think the way you think, or who have the question, whose voice more or less you are representing, those things are incorrect. Number one, Buhari is not a religious bigot.
Some people will not agree this.
Yeah, they may not, but it's never been. And I can give you several instances. Why? Because I know him close. Maybe
the born-again Buhari now you're talking about.
I don't know what you mean by that, because he still remains a Muslim. He still remains a Muslim. His driver for 10, 12 years is a born-again Christian. His personal bodyguards were all Christians. How did I discover this? In one of the meetings I finished in Kaduna, and I was going to the house of my friend Nasir Rufai, and his driver dropped me there. And he said, Pastor, please pray for me. We'll start the campaign soon. I was not a candidate then. He said, we'll soon start the campaign, and we're always on the road. I said, well, I can't pray the Muslim prayer, I can only pray the Christian prayer. I said, I'm born again, so I'm a Christian. I've been driving in for 12 years. We finished the crusade, the campaign in Kaduna. Well, crusade campaign, it depends on
alike.
Yes. We finished the campaign in Kaduna, and we came home, and General got out of his car and said, Jesus Christ of Nazareth. I said, what did you just say? He said, you think you have...
That is the politician in him.
He said, no. He said, you think you have monopoly of Jesus Christ. We make mistakes about these things, and we assume. No, I'm not finished. Please give me time, because we made so many assumptions. And
they're not just assumptions.
With great respect, assumption is the lowest level of knowledge.
They're not just assumptions.
You said in Nigeria, that's the reason the polity is the way it is. The executive, the vice president to the executive president looks like a spare tire. That's not what the Constitution says.
It's a spare tire.
That is not the Constitution of Nigeria. There are 12 roles assigned by the Constitution. He is the chairman of the Economic Council. An efficient, effective vice president in Nigeria is in charge of the economy. And the law, the Constitution calls him his associate. Read your Constitution. Nigerians don't bother to read. He cannot even be elected without him. No. It's because we don't do our homework. So a brilliant mind will go get an imbecile to be his running mate as a governor, so that it will just be a rubber stamp. That is not the purpose.
And you were not intending to be a rubber stamp to Buhari if you were elected?
He never even desired that. From first day ever before I accepted, he said, I want you to know what the Constitution says we will follow. You'll be exclusively in charge of the economy of Nigeria, along with 12 other roles that are specified by the Constitution. A serious-minded vice president in this country will have a great opportunity with the backing of the law to do so many things. In practice, if the president is ego-driven, you will find all kinds of friction like transpired between OBJ and Atiku. But he couldn't remove it.
No. You want us to believe that this man is not a religious bigot. But what happened after the presidential election when it was said that the riots in the north were instigated by your presidential candidate, and even churches were burnt? How did you feel? Your pastor and a lot of churches were burnt down by these people who felt their own candidate never won the elections in the north.
You know, I feel so sorry for my country and for those who should be in the vanguard of truth. And rather than doing their homework, practice what I call cash and carry journalism. There you are making assertions that when this crisis started, is Buhari that must have initiated it because the people felt their own candidate did not win. Now let me give you the truth. You voted on Saturday, April 16. Before the voting, the crisis had started brewing up in certain places, including Bauchi and Kaduna. After the election, it escalated. General Buhari was in Daura. I was in Lagos, where I voted. We spoke on the phone and we said, we must immediately stop it because we do not think the chief security officer of this nation, who is supposed to be in charge, will have the moral authority to stop it.
Why?
I'm coming. I flew from Lagos to Abuja. General flew directly from Daura into Abuja, and we met. He spoke on Al Jazeera. He spoke on Hausa BBC radio. The chairman of our party spoke on channel repeatedly that day. The president of Nigeria, sitting president, who is now the newly sworn-in president, did not say a word until 6 days after. Because neither any of the traditional institutions or leadership or the president had the moral authority to restrain a people that felt deprived of what they thought was their legitimate participation in a process they expected to be credible.
Of course, they wouldn't have listened to the president because the perception outside there was that somebody motivated them to go out on the streets.
That's not true.
But that is what people hold.
While people may hold that, why don't you find it? You are the chief security officer of the nation. If anything is happening or brewing anywhere, where are the security people to know exactly what is happening anywhere and gather information and stop it?
Does that mean he's not in charge?
Who?
The president.
If he was in charge, why did all that carnage happen? That's one. Number two, when that thing started, no churches were involved. Now, I hope you read the interview granted.
No churches were involved?
At the beginning, no church was burned. The people targeted the house of those who thought were betraying them. It was an look, CPC was not in charge of it at all. I can tell you that. I will not be part of any carnage. Talk less of burning down churches.
You might not know the detail of what is going on in the minds of people in the far north, where those things were carried out.
I might not know what was going on. I don't know how old you are, sir. But at 57, I've seen enough in Nigeria. I saw the carnage in 1964. When Awolowo and Akintola, as they said, Akintola Taku in those days, I saw the carnage and the Operation Wete and the Wild Wild West.